You are not overreacting. Of course, your mind is likely to spiral. And of course, your nervous system is going to go into fight or flight. It's not a flaw, it's a response to years of uncertainty. Today, I want to talk about something that every person living with ITP understands. That moment when you see a bruise you can't explain and your whole body reacts before you've even had time to think. Even after more than a decade of living with ITP, even after a splenectomy, multiple treatments, and the last couple of years of having relatively stable counts, I still have moments where one bruise sends me into an absolute panic. And recently, while visiting my daughter in the UK, it happened again. Now, in this episode, I'm sharing that story, the fear, the spiral, the realisation, and the truth about these moments and what they bring up for me. My hope is that by talking about these openly, you'll feel a little less alone the next time this happens to you. Let's get into it. There's something I want to talk about today that every single person living with ITP understands. It's that moment when you see a bruise that you can't explain and your whole body reacts before your mind has even had a chance to catch up. It's not just noticing a bruise, it's the way your stomach drops, the way your chest tightens, the way your nervous system snaps into flight or flight so fast that you don't even realise it's happening. That spike in heart rate, your breathing changes, and that whole body goes into something is wrong. And even after more than a decade of living with ITP, even after my splenectomy, multiple treatments, and relatively stable counts over the last couple of years, even after becoming someone people come to for reassurance, my body still reacts in the exact same way that it did on this one particular day. Now, I was in the UK visiting my daughter and her young family. One of those beautiful, ordinary days, we were sitting there in the kitchen, I was playing with my toddler grandson, completely relaxed, completely present in the moment. And then I moved my arm and I saw it out of the corner of my eye. It was a bruise. Now, it wasn't just a small bruise, it was a good sized bruise, dark, deep, purple, absolutely not the kind of bruise that you get when you bump on the table. And it was in that instant, everything inside me completely changed. Now, I'm not going to go into profanities, but my first thought was, oh God, or shit. And then the spiral hit me like an absolute wave. Are my platelets okay? Am I crashing? Do I need rescue treatment? Have I been taking my medication properly? Where do I even get a blood drawer in the UK? How do I go about this without stressing out my daughter and her family? How is this going to happen? What am I supposed to be doing? And there's this thing, that moment when we're diagnosed that we're conditioned to focus on the platelet count, that number that we have to live and breathe by. It's always the thing we've been trained to monitor, and it's so ingrained in our system. So, of course, that's where my mind went straight away. My body reacted, of course, and my nervous system lit up like an absolute Christmas tree. Now, while I was sitting there going through this, I didn't say anything, not to my daughter, not to anyone. I just sat there alone in my thoughts, which is probably not the best thing to do, but that's exactly what I was thinking, and that's exactly what I did. I thought back to brushing my teeth that morning. Did I have any bleeding gums? I checked my legs, I checked my arms, I checked the rest of my body, I checked for petechiae, am I more tired? Is something feeling off? And I really started to question, my being and how I was feeling. Meanwhile, my grandson was sitting there laughing next to me, and inside I was in my head preparing for the absolute worst. And this didn't just go on for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. This continued for around 20 to 30 minutes, which is a really long time to be sitting in that state for. My heart rate stayed high, my breath was shallow. My brain had locked on this familiar loop of fear and anxiety and stress. And here's the truth. Even when you're feeling stable, even when you've got all the knowledge and information in the world, even when you're classified as the strong one, and when you're the one that people turn to for support and reassurance, ITP can still take you right back to day one when you were diagnosed and told that you had a low platelet count.
Thanks to our sponsor Sobi for their ongoing support of ITP Australia and New Zealand and our podcast Beyond the Count.
Now there I was sitting in the kitchen in the UK with my daughter and her young family, and I was spiralling. Eventually I had to force myself to stop, to take a breath, take a nice long deep breath, slow down my heart rate and remind my body that I wasn't in any danger. Even though my nervous system was convinced that I knew that I was in a safe space. And then I asked myself a question that I often ask a lot of patients. How do you feel? And then things started to progress and calm within my system. I thought back 2 days earlier, we'd been sightseeing at a castle in the UK, and there was an archery set up, one of those fun touristy sort of things. And those of you who know me know that I love to participate, especially in archery and, some of those really active activities. And remembering back to that activity, the bowstring had snapped back against my arm in the place where the bruise was. So that was it. And then there was this sense of relief. Yes, it didn't wash over me, but there was a sense of relief, and the feeling of fight or flight had started to dissipate. And, fear doesn't just randomly just switch off automatically, but it does slowly give you a chance and your body a chance to regain its sense of self and that sense of safety. It's like my body was finally catching up with the reality. But even with the explanation, it made me more curious and more aware and definitely more diligent when it came to taking my treatment more regularly and really notice what was happening. And this feeling and these experiences is something as patients that we don't talk about often, and we certainly don't talk about it enough. And if this happens to me every time I see an unexplained bruise, I can only imagine that this is probably happening to somebody else. And you know what? For me, this happens every single time I experience it. I experience that new bruise that is unexplained. I don't know where it's come from. More often than not, it doesn't matter how big or small the bruise is. It doesn't matter how stable my platelet count has been. It doesn't matter how much I know about ITP. The fear is automatic. It's hardwired into me now. And if you're listening and you're thinking, yep, that's me too, I want you to hear this, and I want you to hear this clearly. You are not overreacting. You are not dramatic. You are not weak. You are not failing to cope. You are human. And you've been conditioned from the very first day that you heard those words, your platelet count is low, to monitor, to watch, to be alert, and to be ready. And of course your body is going to react. Of course your mind is likely to spiral. And of course your nervous system is going to go into fight or flight. It's not a flaw. It's a response to years of uncertainty. And when this happens, and I know for me it will happen again, here's what helps me get back on track. I breathe slowly and deeply. I don't take dramatic breaths, just slow and steady until my body feels safe. I remind myself that I have an amazing support system, that I have people that I can call. I have some amazing healthcare professionals that know my ITP history and are there to support me. And I have a community, you guys, that understands what I'm going through on a regular basis. And I remind myself that I've survived every single flare, every single crash, every unknown bruise before, and it's going to be okay. Fear doesn't always mean danger. Sometimes it's just the brain trying to protect yourself. And I'm sharing this because I know how isolating some of these moments can really feel. How quickly can you go from I'm fine to everything is falling apart? And I want you to know that even after more than a decade of living with ITP, even finding stability and building a life around advocacy and support, these moments still happen. And they don't mean that, you're going backwards. They don't mean that you're losing control and that you're doing anything wrong. They mean that you're living with a condition that has shaped you physically, emotionally, psychologically, in ways that many people will never understand. But we get it. We understand. And there's an entire community of those living with ITP that understand as well. Know that you're not alone, not even for a second. We're always here by your side. I hope you all got a lot out of today's episode. But before we wrap up, here are a couple of takeaways from the story that I've shared. Number 1, your reaction is normal. Seeing an unexplained bruise can trigger fear and anxiety instantly. Even after years of living with ITP, this response isn't overreacting. It's a deeply human reaction to a condition that has shaped your life and your sense of safety. You are not alone in feeling this way. Number 2, pause before jumping to conclusions. When panic hits, give yourself a moment to take a breath and settle. Check in with your body, and I mean the whole body, from top to toe, your gums, your skin, and even your energy levels. And let your nervous system catch up before your thoughts run away with you with the worst case scenario. Number 3, ask yourself, what else could this be? Most bruises do have an explanation, even if it takes a moment for you to remember. Think back over the last couple of days: bags, door frames, pets, kids, sport, travelling, anything physical. Sometimes the answer is far more ordinary than our fears suggest. Number 4, lean on your grounding tools and your community. Slow your breathing, stepping outside, have a glass of water. Simply pausing can bring your body back into the present. And remember, you have a whole community here who is ready to support you. You never have to sit with these moments alone. Thank you to everyone who has listened for being part of this ITP community. Remember to take care of yourself and be kind to yourself the next time a bruise sends your heart racing. If you're looking for support, connection or information, visit itpanz.org.au. You'll find The Count, our quarterly magazine, patient stories, treatment information sheets, clinical guidelines and a wide range of resources designed to help you and your family feel informed and supported. Most importantly, you'll know that you're not alone. There's a whole community here just waiting for you. If this episode was helpful, please share it with others in the ITP community and leave us a review on your podcast platform. It helps more people find Beyond the Count. We've got more expert conversations, patient stories and more coming soon. So hit the follow or subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for listening as we go beyond the count together.